Welcome back, friends. So our first Q&A, also known as Ask Us Anything, and we really haven't done one of these before because I think I was kind of worried no one would ask us anything, to be quite frank. But you did, and thank you so much for that. So
yeah, we got some really great questions, so we're looking forward to answering them.
We really did, so stay tuned. So this seems to be the end thing right now, is to our YouTube creators to ask their subscribers to do a little Q&A, and I think it's really cool because it allows you guys to control the content. So yeah, we're really excited. So we're going to jump into our first question.
Okay.
And the first question, I find it's actually seems like a simple question, but it's actually kind of a deep question for me. And Melanie Kinney, thank you for asking, Melanie. What's your #1 tip for camping with kids? Ours are 7 and 5. So Melanie's kids are 7 and 5, and our kids are 6 and 3. Mm-hmm. And you want me to start, or you want to start?
No, you go ahead. Your answer's
okay.
Yes, good one.
So this seems like it could be a very simple answer, but for me it's much deeper than that. My #1 tip for camping with kids is to make time, and I use that word specifically, make time to connect with them. And it's very easy not to do that, even camping. So we get to the campsite, and a lot of times I'm setting up and she's setting up inside, and the kids go off and ride their bike, and then I'm starting a fire, and then I'm starting to cook, she's starting to cook, and before we know it, it's bedtime, and we may not have even talked to each other that much, you know. And so I make it, and I'm raising my hand here. I'm guilty of this too. So I have started making it a point to connect with at least one of them per night, and hopefully both of them. Our last camping trip, I just pulled Beckett up into my lap and by the campfire, and I just talked to him and just got on his level, and we talked about Godzilla and Lightning McQueen and all of the things that a 3-year-old thinks about. And then I started asking him about the fire and the stars and stuff like that, and just talking to him. So that's my #1 tip, is to just make time, because it's not just going to happen. You have to make the time to connect with your kid. And Brooke, I think you've got a good one too.
Yeah, so mine isn't quite as deep as yours. Yours is pretty good. So mine is just go with the flow. So the last camping trip, Townley came up covered in mud. And there's a little part of me that really wanted to freak out and wash her off. And I had to remind myself, we're camping, I'm just going to go with the flow. We can wash the clothes when we get home. It might storm. That's another thing. If the weather changes, I still have to remind myself, go with the flow, no big deal. We're blessed to be camping with our kids, and it's okay. We'll pop in a movie and huddle up inside and play a game, if the weather changes. So, yeah, I just encourage you to take a step back. It's hard as a mom sometimes to not be kind of fully engaged and wired and wanting to control the situation, but stepping back and just taking it easy at the campsite.
Absolutely. That's a good one. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Melanie. Appreciate this question. Okay, our next question comes from Rosalind M. Woodall. That's a beautiful name, Rosalind. And the question is, what do the kids think about all the new adventures taking place? So we have some special guests to help answer that question. Townley, what do you think about our adventures?
They're fun.
They're fun?
Yeah.
What do you like about camping?
I like going playing. I like playing in the dirt. And I like playing in the sand. I like riding my scooter. I like playing on the playground. I enjoy everything.
Everything, okay.
Wow.
That's good. Beckett, what do you think about camping?
Answer the question.
Is it fun?
No.
Oh, it's not?
It's not.
It's not fun? Okay, well, do you want to stay home when we go to the swamp?
No.
No, you don't? Do you like playing on the playground?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like meeting new friends sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like playing in the dirt.
Thank you, Townley. Townley's giving him all the answers you can hear. So, well, thank you guys. We appreciate it. What else?
And getting dirty.
Getting dirty.
Feet.
Getting your feet dirty?
Yeah, in my head.
Hey, do you like sitting by the campfire?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do you like looking at the stars?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? All right, well, there's your answer, guys. So to be quite frank, the true answer to that is the kids really don't know much different. And but what we do, because they've been camping their entire life, and especially Beckett, I think he was, what, 12 weeks old when we got our first camper. And then Townley, we had a cruiser boat before that, so she has kind of been in a camper, so to say, her entire life. So they really don't know much different. But what we're very sure to do, and we make a point to do, is to let them know how grateful they should be to do the things that we do, and how blessed we are to be able to do some of this stuff, don't you think?
I agree, yep.
Yeah.
Kind of remind them how special it is that they get to do.
Yeah, so I mean it's very important to us that they understand that this is a very much a privilege for them. So great question. Thanks, Rosalind.
Thanks, Rosie.
All right, our next question comes from Addison Waybridge. That's a cool name, Addison. What is your most favorite campground and why? Brooke, you want to start?
So I couldn't pick just one state park or campground. I actually picked two. So one of them is up in the mountains in North Georgia, and that's Moccasin Creek State Park on Lake Burton. And that's near our favorite little mountain town of Clayton. And then my other one is really a summer campground on Lake Lanier, and that's Old Federal. They just have so many beautiful campsites at Old Federal.
They really do.
We love the summer so much. So that we have some good memories at Old Federal. So those are my two favorites.
Yeah, those are good ones. Those are really good ones, actually. My favorite is, I'll just go with one. I had a hard time picking, but I think one does stick out for me, and that is Vogel State Park in northern Georgia. And I am a mountains person. I love the beach too, but mountains are special to my heart. I have certified hillbilly DNA that I'm very proud of. And so the mountains just strike a chord with me. And Vogel is tied with Indian Springs State Park for the oldest state park in Georgia. And it's a quintessential state park. You can go back and look at the review in our trip video. I just love the mountain setting, the mountain lake. You're camping on Wolf Creek. It's just everything that you would want. And so Vogel State Park really sticks out as number one for me at this point. So
yeah, we have a lot to visit still. So
great question. Yeah, great question. Thanks. All right, next question. Chris Kitchens. I went to school with a guy named Chris Kitchens. I don't think you're the same one, but how many camping nights how many camping trips / nights? Let me try that again. How many camping trips / nights camping do you do in a year? That's a great question. So last year, I counted them up. We did 33 nights camping, and then we actually had to cancel one of those trips because of Hurricane Florence, I think. We were making room for evacuees coming from South Carolina. So we canceled one of those trips. So it would have been a couple more. And then this year, I think we have 42 nights camping in the RV. And that's pretty good for us because especially Brooke, she's in the corporate world, so she only gets so much vacation time. So we do our very best, but I think we get our money's worth out of the rig.
It's kind of crazy to think we've spent over a month in the camper.
Yeah. So I would say anywhere from 35 to 45 nights on average. I would say that's about right. Okay, next question, and this is a biggie right here. Apartment B, I like that name too. Do you ever see full-time in your near future? Brooke, you want to take that one?
Sure. So while we think full-timing is really cool, it's not for us right now. We have a really strong sense of belonging where we live. We love our church, we love our community, and we live close to family. So with the kids being young, that's important. We have help, and we're very blessed to do that with our kids in school and us working. So we're going to stick around here for now and just camp on the weekends.
Yeah, I think so. We actually did a video on this, and we did it about, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, and just kind of explaining in a little bit more detail our feelings towards full-timing. And it's just not for us right now. That's not a season that we are looking at right now. But we have, Brooke and I have talked a good bit about this, in retirement age. We haven't ruled it out for retirement for sure, especially hosting. We've even talked about maybe one day opening a campground. Of course, that's, 20 some odd years, far away. But we've talked about that, and that's certainly appealing to us. But that sense of belonging, I can't imagine leaving our church right now. And this is just us. This is just our season. This has nothing to do with anybody else. This is just us speaking our opinion. But yeah, maybe in retirement age, but not right now. Great question, Department B. Thanks. Okay, next question. Scott Michael. What's up, Scott? How you doing, man?
Hey, Scott.
What made you decide to start a YouTube channel? And I guess I'll take that one because that was pretty much on me, which is kind of funny because I'm nearly 40 and what am I doing becoming a YouTuber? But here we are. And so the reason I did it is, I guess it was Christmas of 2017. I don't know if you've ever heard of Legacy Box. But Legacy Box is, they send you like this shoebox and you put all of your old films and pictures and audio tapes and whatever else. You put it in the shoebox and you send it off and they digitize all of it and send it back to you either in like these little zip drives or DVDs or whatever else. So I sent it all off and I got it back and I saw videos that I never knew existed. I mean, it was literally me when I was 6 months old doing tummy time. And I could hear my baby voice, and I'd never seen these before. And this is back in 1980, and I feel so old when I say this, but not a lot of people had video cameras back then. I mean, it was not till like the mid to late 80s that people started having the things you put up here on your shoulder, and then they had the camcorders. Right. And of course now we have our phones. But yeah, I mean, I was just very appreciative that it was actually my granddad that actually took the time to video me. And I just thought it was really cool. So I thought to myself, we need to start documenting our kids a little bit and what we do. And so we started doing that. And we do that a little bit on the channel. The channel's kind of morphed into more of an RV related. We do products and campground reviews. And, I just don't want the camera in the kids' faces all the time. We try to, as much as we want to bring you good videos, our first priority, no offense, is to experience what we're experiencing. And so we don't always bring out the camera. I think that's important, And so, but we do film them sometimes, and we get some good clips of them. And we maybe, I think Townley's starting to enjoy the videos a little bit, so we'll maybe bring some more of that. But it's really just to capture our memories is the reason we started it. And it's just kind of morphed into more of an RV-related travel vlog, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. It's evolved. But, yeah, it definitely kind of started out of just an idea of documenting it.
And also another part of that is, we wanted to be helpful. So I'm a part of some Facebook groups and a couple of forums, and you sit there and you try to help somebody by typing out, a huge paragraph, and it's just almost easier just to make a video about it and show them, because I'm a visual learner. And so I think sometimes it helps somebody to actually watch a video versus just reading directions, because I'm certainly that way. So I think that's part of it as well. So great question, Scott. Thanks, man. Okay, next question, Teresa Tillock. Tillock, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Teresa, thank you for engaging. I see your comments quite often. Thank you for that. She asks, when did you start camping? And I'll let Brooke start with this one, because she's got a funny story about this.
So I guess we started camping when...
She started camping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me. We.
Together.
When we first started dating for the third time. And Corey invited me to go hiking and do a little overnight camp on the AT.
Yes.
So we did hiking camping in a very small 2-person
backpacking
tent. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that night on top of the mountain, it poured down rain and it thunderstormed, and I was like, what have I agreed to do? This is terrible.
We really thought we were going to struck by lightning. That's not even a joke.
This is how I live this
We're not
world.
Exaggerating, yeah.
In a tent, yep.
I had to tell her this is not normal, but we can't move because who knows, we'll get struck by lightning that way too. So yeah, it was rough.
We clearly survived the night. And then he talked me into going on some more, I guess, tent camping trips.
Car camping.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we registered when we got married for a tent.
We did.
And we got a tent.
Jeff and Kathy Hitala got us that tent.
And we still have that tent. I can't get rid of it because it's special to me. And you still camp in the front yard with the kids in that tent. So we did a little more tent camping, and it really wasn't until, I guess, a couple years ago we decided to take the plunge. And
yeah, there's a question coming up on that too.
Yeah. So, but it really, I guess, started 10 years ago. 11 years ago?
11 years ago, for you.
Yeah.
I camped growing up a little bit. She didn't. Her first camping trip was literally that thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
Like flood.
Traumatic situation.
But I grew up camping, not a lot. My parents took us to Stone Mountain every other year for a week-long camping trip with friends. And then my first love is actually backpacking. So I've been backpacking for, maybe close to 20 years. And so the RV is certainly a a happy compromise between backpacking and camping. So, but yeah, I've been camping most of my life, and Brooke didn't camp till she met me.
No,
So,
that was a hotel girl.
yeah, great question. Thanks. Okay, next question comes from U-Haul Camper, and U-Haul Camper is actually near us. They're only a couple miles from us.
Oh, cool.
So check them out on Instagram. Literally U-Haul Camper. You'll see the question down below. But they ask, what's been your longest trip in the camper, and what did you learn from it? And that's a great question. I think our longest trip was fall break last year. We spent a full week in the camper.
We did.
And I think Brooke and I will both agree that one of the good things we learned was we have enough camper. We're completely happy with the size of our camper. I mean, we didn't ever feel cramped or anything like that. Anything else? Did we talk about anything else?
We were prepared to do laundry.
Yes, that's right. We did some laundry.
We prepared for that and had everything we needed to do
Yep.
some laundry, coins and detergents and all that stuff.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah, I
much
mean,
it.
I think we'd done it so much camping to that point. It was just longer, and so the laundry and just seeing if we got cramped, and we never did. So I think that was good.
Yeah.
Good question. Thanks, U-Haul Camper. All right, next up, and I hope this video doesn't run too long, by the way. Next up is from the Decampers. So congratulations, Nick, David. You just hit 100 subscribers not too long ago. Good job, guys.
Awesome.
Go check them out if you haven't. But they've got two questions, so we'll do back to back for them. The first question is, what was the most complicated or frustrating aspect of RVing for you guys in the very beginning? And that is a great question. I'll start with that one. The most complicated thing for me was, frustrating too, was realizing that the truck I had wasn't good enough for our camper. At least I didn't feel that way. Now, it would pull it, it would stop it, but going down the highway, going next to semi-trucks, any type of wind, it was real floaty. I never got any real sway, but I got a whole lot of truck suck, and I'd get blown around a little bit. And I just quickly realized that, okay, if I'm gonna enjoy this, if I'm gonna go on longer trips, if I'm gonna tow this thing every other weekend, especially during the summer, I've got to get a 3/4 ton truck. And that's just all there is to that. And and we did that, and it's been great. It was one of our most popular videos. You can go back and check that out. But yeah, that was, for me, it was realizing, hey buddy, you don't have enough truck, at least not for my taste. So what about you, Brooke?
So to me, I think it was getting in our groove, like kind of getting our routine down, getting in our routine, packing up the camper, making sure we didn't forget anything. I kind of came up with my packing list. And then when we get there, kind of our routine for setting up, okay, what are you doing? What am I doing? Making sure no one was duplicating their efforts. And so now we've got it down to a fine art.
Yeah,
when
for sure.
we get to the campsite, I know what he's working on. He knows what I'm working on. The same with packing up and actually getting home and unpacking. So it really, to me, was just kind of getting in our groove and our routine. So it kind of became a fine art, and we don't have to think much about it now when we get where we're going.
I mean, we still make a list, and but I mean, we don't hardly need it now.
Yeah, but at first it was like, I didn't know.
But we still use it because we're like, oh gosh, we're still going to forget something.
Yeah.
But we normally don't. So yeah, we got it down pat now. Great question, guys. And so the camper's second question, and this one's kind of funny. Thank you for this one. Which one of you first brought up wanting an RV? How did that conversation go? Laugh out loud. And it is funny. So Brooke, I will let you take that.
Like you knew this was going to be a funny topic. So I said I would never want a camper. I had no interest in having a camper. I think one of my girlfriends still makes fun of me because I said that.
She does.
And now we have a YouTube channel, and you get to watch me go camping.
Yeah, it was funny because one of her best girlfriends, her best girlfriend wants a camper, and then we wanted a camper at the time, and Brooke was just like, no, we don't need a camper, which honestly, you don't ever need
Nobody
one.
needs a camper.
Yeah, you don't need one. And so, but then we made a joke, I don't know, it was a couple weeks ago. It was like, how funny is it now that like 5,000 people watch your camp? So it's so funny. But yeah, she didn't want one. But I think now you love it. Yeah.
I love it.
I think, yeah. I mean, I brought up just a pop-up, and I think that was out.
I kind of drew the line at pop-up. I'm like, if we're going to tent camp, or we're going to have
a camper.
Travel trailer.
An RV, yeah.
So we made a good decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you don't know what you're missing until you try it sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. I'm glad she agreed to it. Thanks to campers. All right, next question. I'm going to lump these two together because they're very, very similar. And they come from Highlander Mike Golf. Highlander Mike, it looks like either you or somebody in your family served, and sincere thank you for that. I know you engaged with the channel. It's really appreciated. And then Everett Smith, thank you for the question as well. I'm gonna read Highlander's question first, and then I'll read Everett's question because they're kind of the same. Highlander says, do you plan on getting solar or a generator, at least for an emergency backup? And then Everett said, do you dry camp? If you do you recommend a generator or an inverter? And so to answer that first question is, yes, I would like a generator actually. And I've done some extensive research on them. And for some reason, I don't even like saying this, but I just always come back to Hondas. And the reason being is, I know they're expensive, but every single time you talk to somebody about a generator, or you talk to them on a forum, or talk to them in a Facebook group, well, is it as quiet as a Honda? Is it as fuel efficient as a Honda? Is it as reliable as a Honda? And it's like, I'm just going to get a Honda. Like, I mean, I don't know. I can't get away from it. They're super expensive, and I'll probably end up with the 3000 model. I think it's got a 30 amp plug on it to be able to run the AC, but not right now. And so I'm more interested in one of those actually for the house versus the RV. So I'm much more concerned about the house losing power and than I am the RV. And then as far as dry camping is concerned, we haven't done any dry camping yet in the RV. My first love is backpacking. So if I'm going to dry camp, there's a good chance I'm probably going to go backpacking. But we're not against dry camping. I think some great BLM lands, they have awesome campsites, and a lot of those are dry. And I think when the kids get a little bit older, we may be interested in that. When we get out, maybe maybe one day we can get an ATV or something like that when they get a good bit older. But not right now. We're not doing any dry camping right now.
And we're probably not getting an ATV.
Remember she said that about the camper?
No, write that one down.
All right, write it down. But when we got the side-by-side in 2 years, we're going to come back here. Great question, guys. Thank you. Okay, last one from Jormac. And this is actually a good question here, because some of you might run into this. So with work and all, I didn't have time to get my 33-foot Grey Wolf toy hauler trailer out last year, much less even move it. I hope that changes this year. My question is, what effect would that have on the tires sitting for that length of time? I do have them setting on 2x6s, and they're covered. So tires sitting for that amount of time, I think a lot of that, and I'm no tire expert, by the way. Let me raise my hand and fess up to that first. But I think if they've been sitting for that long, it's depending on how old they are. So if they're only a couple of years old, I think you're going to be okay. Now, if they're 4, 5, 6 years old, I would guess you may have a flat spot. You'll know that as soon as you start pulling it. It's going to shake that trailer to death. So, but even if you don't have a flat spot, if they're 4 or 5 years old, I would certainly take them to a tire shop and at least let them inspect them if you're not comfortable inspecting them. But again, I'm not a tire expert, so that's just probably what I would do.
And maybe someone that's watching has a great answer to that.
Yeah, if you're watching, if you can help Jormac out here, if you're a tire guy, if I'm not giving good advice, please let him know. And that our comment section is really awesome about that. So that would be a great help. So yeah, I think you'd know pretty quick though. Yeah. I hope that changes for you, by the way. I hope you get it out a bunch this year. Well, that wraps up our first Ask Us Anything.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I think that was fun. We'll have to do that maybe, I don't know, once a month, once every couple of months. Yeah. I'm just glad we got enough questions to make a video.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, thank you for asking. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad it allows us to kind of get into your head a little bit and see what you're interested in. I mean, it's kind of YouTube is kind of a one-way street where we just make the content and you watch. And I know you get to comment on it, but you only get to comment on what we make content on. So I really like this format. We'll certainly have to do it again. So thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Have a good one.